Sure, you know how to calculate your gross margin on a project basis, but let's look at the power of incremental gross margin in the context of your business as a whole. Once you understand your own personal scenario, you can exploit the situation to make big profit leaps. So let's look at a sample scenario of a company that is operating at a low profit, and then we're going to unpack the process of incremental gross margin. So we're going to start with a company that is doing $300,000 a month. So that puts you at $3.6 million per year. That is a very common space to get stalled out in. I see a lot of remodeling companies and custom builders, but mostly remodeling companies get stalled in that $2.5 to $3.5 million per year range. We take that and we're looking at $300,000 in sales. Let's say we have a cost of goods sold of $195,000. That leaves us with a gross margin of $105,000. This particular company has $100,000 in overhead expenses. We're looking at our gross profit. As we break this down, we've got $105,000 left, but it takes us $100,000 a month to run the business. And so that means we're left with $5,000. So we're basically breaking even, very low profitability on a monthly basis. Many companies get to this stage with referrals, word of mouth, and just maybe a little bit of marketing. But you've got some marketing baked into your overhead, but it's pretty low, maybe 1% or less, maybe 1.5%. We want to introduce the concept of incremental gross margin. So we're going to look at this particular company and how they can move through and look at their current situation and make some adjustments to blow up their net profit. This company has an average project size of $100,000. Now this is pretty common in today's environment. Just as you're going through this, use your own average project size. Then we also need to know our average gross margin. So in this case, 35%. A lot of you are in the 30 to 40% range. If you find your gross margin dropping below that, you probably want to look at some pricing strategies, and we want to get that up into kind of the mid 30s as a target to shoot for. That means that their incremental gross margin for every project they add to this scenario, it's worth $35,000 to them. As we're breaking this down, you're going, okay, I've kind of got this machine running. I have some moving parts. I have the resources. I need some more work. My profitability is low. Sometimes you think, oh, I need to really just boost my gross margin, right? Like 35%, I'm not very profitable. Maybe I need this to be at 40% or 45%. Now, if you did that, you would increase your overall net profit. But you can also look at this scenario and just say, well, if I just added one more project a month, that's your incremental gross margin. Let's take a scenario where you say, okay, great. I've got this system running, but I've got a little bit of excess capacity and I need to fill it. What if I added $10,000 a month into marketing expenses? You may be thinking, $10,000 a month, that's crazy. But let's say it produced just one more of your average projects. One more project at $100,000 brings you $35,000 in gross margin. And so if you are going to spend $10,000 to bring in one new customer, that means you're bringing in $35,000 in gross margin, right? So right here. So we're going to take our $35,000 minus the $10,000 that it costs to bring it in. That means we're adding $25,000 in profit, which means your new profit over here is $30,000. Obviously, this would go over here, so this would be $400,000, so we would grow our overall revenue, but more importantly, we would 6x our profit in this scenario. And so if you did this every single month, you would be spending $120,000 a month in extra marketing. But again, you're looking at incremental gross margin. And so you might throw that over here and go, well, gosh, if I add that increases my overhead by 10%. But remember, this is the end result. I encourage you to look at this and run through your own scenario. Pull up your P&L, see where you're at for, average sales, average gross margin, and average net profit, and then pull your numbers for average project size and gross margin, plug these in, and see at kind of a 3-to-1, 4-to-1 ratio for spending marketing and getting gross margin, you're gonna add a ton of profitability. And so sometimes you're just sitting on a great machine and you just need some fuel to push you forward, and that will explode your profit. And with that, we'll see you next time here on Builder Funnel TV.